From this book, we have to learn the architecture and the religion. So first we will go through over this topic. So let's start. And in the field of architecture, the most spectacular achievement was the famous Adina Mosque at Pandua, built by Sikandar Shah in 1345. The mosque was not only the larger than the largest mosque of the Delhi Sultans of all the time, but it was also the largest mosque in the whole subcontinent of India. Other important monuments erected during the Ilya Shahi period were the tomb of Ghiasuddin Azam Shah at Sonargaon. So you know about it, and the Shona Mujid of Pandua. I don't think so. It's that much necessary to remember. Now, a deeply religious man, Ilyas Shah had great veneration for the saints and Sufis. It is noticed that, like the Shaikh, Ulama, and most the non-Muslim hermits and saints also received stipends from the states. The Ilyas Shah Sultans of Bengal followed the liberal policy, so the people of other religious beliefs can live together peacefully. As a part of that liberalism shown by the sultans were the appointment of non-Muslims in the administration, and although the nature of the state was Islamic, blend of local and sometimes Hindu elements in the coins and non-imposition of jizya social welfare works which benefited all irrespective of religion. They allowed non-Muslims to participate in the administration and even appointed them to the key position of the state during the Ilyas Shahi period. The rise of Raja Ganesh from the post of PT officer in the revenue department to the officer of Wazir illustrates the liberal policy of the Muslims towards the Brahmins. Okay, so what can we have to conclude these things? Now we have read the book, and now it's your time to decide what we need to learn. We need to memorize from the Ilyas Shahi dynasty. So let's see. Okay, so let's start. And the first thing is I will start Ilyas Shahi dynasty, and here we will discuss some topics which are actually very much important here. Okay, so the first topic what we will, so how they had conquered. So at first, Haji Ilyas, founder of Ilyas Shahi dynasty, is also known as Shamsuddin Ilyas Shah, who took the control of. So the first point is about Haji Ilyas, because he was the founder. This is the total map of how everything was. He was the founder of Ilyas Shah dynasty, and at first he took control of Lucknow. Okay, so he took the control of Lucknow, and I have severally told you the year, and it's the one of the most important years here in it. And then for why he was called Shahi Bangla, Sultani Bangla, because he brought the three major geographical units of Bengal: Shahgaon, Sonargaon, and Lucknow, and there are single answer for it. So major geographical unit, major geographical units. So you have to discuss about it. Okay, so the third point what it would be, need to memorize, is succeeding this system from external force. Delhi Sultans attacked him. But he were able to resist. So the main point there would be what that succeeded in resisting external threats from his kingdom, and he also extended his territories, and it's more than enough that you have written extended. He was capable of extended his authority, and where he had extended, yeah, you know about those names of these places like Bihar, Nepal, Orissa, Assam, and these are not essentially after the Ilyas Shah who was there. He was Sikandar Shah. So Sikandar Shah, why famous? If there he has done anything about in Bengal, is that he built the Sikandar Shah built the Adina Mosque, the biggest mosque of the subcontinent, and that time one of the largest mosques of the world indeed. So why he was famous is the main point there. Okay, so now then another point to remember is that he ruled there over 30 years, but these are not necessary. But what's necessary is that he was able to give Bengal a prosperous and poetical step of Bengal. He made a prosperous and politically politically stable Bengal. Okay, prosperous and politically stable Bengal. These are the points, and then after that, who was there? He was Azam Shah. So Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah, you know about him. So who was Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah? If anyone have told, first of all, you have to talk about the complex during in the vicinity of the well. So you have to talk about the complex made in is the building complex in the vicinity of the tomb of Ghiyasuddin Azam. So you have to talk about this portion when we are talking about Ghiyasuddin Azam, but he was also an able ruler, no doubt. And well, if there is anything to do is like his father, he was patronized. Like his father built a mosque and he patronized several madrasa. So madrasa patronized course, and he also built to madrasa at Makkah, Madinah, and everything. And he was also famous. Like you can compare it with Jahangir, where Jahangir had a respect for law and regulation. The same, he had respect for law and regulation. So these are all for Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah. And then there was some problems, like Saifuddin Hamza Shah murdered by himself, his son murdered by his slave. So then the power went to Ganesh dynasty. Okay, so Ganesh dynasty, there was also problem, but the Ganesh dynasty, Raja Ganesh and Jalaluddin Muhammad Shah, but yeah, they were more or less good enough, and Ganesh was the prime minister of Haji Ilyas, so he was a good one. And after that, when Jalaluddin died, the succession went to sultans. So Nasruddin Mahmud Shah, then he was pretty much good. But the last sultan, you need to remember, the last one is always famous, is Rukunuddin Barbak Shah. Okay, so this is the last sultan. He is Rukunuddin Barbak Shah. He brought Serbs and the power after his death, and from the Serbs, the Abyssinian Serbs assumed power, and from them Said Hussein Shah assumed the power, and Tata himself Alauddin Hussein Shah. These are all right. Then you need to, now we will see about the points. You need to remember about the Ilyas Shahi dynasty. So these are the things. The first things they brought, Abyssinian Serbs made mosque, Adina Mosque, and administration was based on what? Based on inequality. Post of government open for all creeds and religions. Raja Ganesh, senior official there was of the government, and Yashad religious tolerant. And the most important thing, if there is anything, is this: it's that he was religious tolerant. Sufi saints Harman he supported that, and building this in the vicinity of the tomb of Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah. Army from local population, governments to control the streets, architecture of Bengal. So this is not Bengali literature was encouraged. So this is one of the Ghiyasuddin respect for Jalaluddin. Bengali made the code language alongside. So it is important. Great veneration for Sufis and Sufis, and another one, there is a liberal policy. So if there is anything about from their religion to remember, the first point I would say the religious tolerance. So if you remember any of this thing from them, it is they were religious tolerant. Okay, so that's the thing you need to remember about them. They were religious tolerant, didn't impose jizya or something like that. Then brought Abyssinian cells. All of these are okay, fine. And another things, they promoted Bengali. So they were not Bengal, but they promoted the Bengal literature eventually. So Bengal literature is Bengali literature they promoted. Bengali made the code language eventually, so they were much better for us to rule here in the subcontinent. So that's all for this. So if I want to go to overview all of those things, so what we have learned about the Ilyas Shahi dynasty from the first. So if I want to recapitulate what we have learned about Ilyas Shahi dynasty, It was one of the most significant dynasty. The first ruler was Haji Ilyas or Samsuddin Ilyas, who was known as Shahi Bangla or Sultani Bangla. Why he is known as Shahi Bangla or Sultani Bangla? Because he made three major geographical region under a single authority, and he was the first independent sultan. So all of these things are, he was got the upadhi of Sultani Bangla, Shahi Bangla, and the most important thing was he was religious tolerant, and a lot of building mosques, everything was made during this time, and administration was upon equality, that he was opposed to everything. So this was another significant thing to remember. And if there is anything, the Adina Mosque, if you can remember, Bengal was promoted. It was promoted like literature, and it's promoted, and yeah, this one, and the vicinity, like main thing was religious tolerance. It made a lot of impact upon them, and obviously he was much more capable. And the last was Ruknuddin. So if you remember the name, so Ruknuddin, Giyasuddin, so Ruknuddin, Giyasuddin Azam Shah, Ruknuddin, Mubarak Shah, and if the last name you need to remember, it was Sikandar Shah. Okay, so these are the names you need to remember. Okay, name Mubarak Shah, Sikandar Shah, and the others names are not important. What happened, that's more important to remember. So thanks.